So there's a story of a woman who was at a church. Maybe this church. She was at a church, and she wasn't a leader of the church. She was never on the board. She never taught a class or was even part of a sacred service team. She never facilitated a group. But she had a place in the church, and she stood at the door. And she wasn't even an official greeter, but she had a gift. And that gift was that she noticed people. And as people would come in the door, she would welcome them. And she would say, "I'm glad you're here." And she would remember their names. And she would remember if one of their kids had a soccer game and ask them about it. And she noticed people. And she would notice if somebody was new. They would have that moment at the door, that moment where they're not sure if they're early or late. They don't quite know where the sanctuary is or where the bathroom is. And she would say, "I'm glad you're here. You belong." She was so good at that. It was a small thing, but it makes a big difference. And years later, when some of those people who she greeted at the door when it was their first time, they were asked, "What made you come back? What made you keep coming back?" And they didn't say it was the talk, which is humbling for me as a minister to say that. It wasn't the music. It was that welcome at the door by that woman who helped them realize that they belong, that they're welcome here, that they're part of something. Something like that can make a huge difference, and we don't even realize, we don't even give it much thought. A smile, a hug, a welcome. It can be really important in today's world, where so many of us feel alone and isolated. Yesterday I read an article in the New York Times about how we don't really talk to strangers anymore. You know, we have our earbuds in so people leave us alone. Or we're scrolling through our phone, looking really busy. Or we've got our head in a book. So we don't have to talk to strangers if we're by ourselves. And I think we feel really isolated because of this. It's like we've buried our hearts and put a fence around it and said, "I'm okay on my own." But we're not okay on our own. We're lonely as a society. Annalisa shared these graphs. Remember when we had Spiritual Cinema with Join or Die, that first one? She's been following up on that. This is from 2025, and again, I can't read that number.
63.
Thank you, Pedro. 53% don't ever get together with their neighbors or do something positive for the community. 53%. And look at,
63.
what is it?
63.
60, that's worse. 63%. Look how small those other bars are. 63% don't do anything with their neighbors. Don't do anything positive. Let's look at the next one. Okay. 57. I can't read those numbers. 57% of Americans do not belong in any club or organization. Any club or organization. No wonder we feel so alone. No wonder we feel so isolated. It's why it's so important, and bravo to all of you that are here, because you're in one of those smaller graphs, those smaller bars. However often you come here, this counts. Coming to church counts as a club or organization, that you find yourself in a group of people, in community, is so important. So, congratulate yourself for showing up, for being here. And it's not easy, because we've all, or I would say most of us, I would say the majority of us, have had that moment at the door where we are stepping into something new. And we have that pause. Should I stay or should I go? It's a song, I know. I get it stuck in my head whenever I say that, should I? We're not quite sure if we're going to fit in, if we're going to belong, if people are going to accept us. It's a scary thing. It takes boldness, it takes courage to do that. And when we do, it can make a big difference in our lives. So here's what happens, how I see it, what happens when we we have that moment at the door, and we step into a new community, such as this. We have that moment. We boldly go across the threshold. We enter the sanctuary. We come in. Maybe we're broken. Maybe we're feeling lonely. Maybe we are just healing from a health challenge or a relationship breakup or depression. A lot of us come to a place like this when we're feeling that way. Not everyone, but a lot do. And so the last thing they want, maybe they come in late and sit in the back. It's okay. It's okay. They're checking us out. And why wouldn't they? They're looking for something. They're looking for something that they can get out of being here. And that's perfectly fine and normal and part of the process. They're looking, is this a place where I can receive what I need? Will I get a message I can resonate? Will there be people there that I can connect with? And so the last thing they often want to do is stand up, and when we say, if you're here for the first time, please stand. We stopped doing that a few years ago because they maybe just want to sneak right out. And that's okay. They're in receivership mode. They're in a mode of receiving, of remembering who they are, of remembering that love's presence is all around. They're in a reception phase of needing something, wanting something. And that's good. A church needs people. Churches need people who are in that mode. Because what do new people bring? They bring new voices. They bring new ideas. And they give those of us who are stewards of the community somebody to serve. If we're all stewards and trying to serve, there's got to be somebody to serve. So let it be okay if you're new. And if you're new here today or recently, I hope you felt welcomed. I hope you felt that you were entering love's presence. I hope somebody smiled at you or said hello to you. And if they didn't, we got a problem. But because we think of ourselves as that welcoming community. So think about when you were first new. Maybe just now, but then you start coming back. And what happens as you start coming back is this process. You notice someone else who has a moment at the door. Maybe you smile at them. Maybe you go up and introduce yourself to them. Maybe you say, I'm glad you're here. You are now transitioning into being a steward. You are now transitioning into being someone of service. And we need people of service too in a church. We need receivers and givers. We need receivers and stewards. And so as we slowly start being of service, giving of ourselves, giving of our service, of our time, of our talents, what happens then is we start feeling this deep sense of belonging. And I think that's what so many of us want to feel, like we belong, like we're in a community where people get us. And so it's an important process. We have this deep belonging. We resonate with the other people that are here. We resonate in our connectedness. And once we have this deep sense of belonging, what happens is we are in a loop. We start remembering who we are on a deeper level. We start getting to know ourselves more because we're in relationship with other people that are coming here. And then we want to give more in service. And then we feel more like we belong more. And it's just this, constant loop. Aren't you glad you're here? You're in a circle. Yeah. You're stewards. Because, a place like this doesn't just happen. It's created by all of you. It's created by the people that show up. It's created by the people who are committed to it. And so thank you for being here in whatever stage you're in. Today is our annual meeting, and it is wonderful to see the voting members and anyone else that wants to come, because everybody's invited, everybody's welcome. But it's wonderful to see these people that are committed to this community want to know how we are doing, want to know what we're thinking about for the future, want to get to know what's going on and how healthy are we as an organization. It's fantastic. It's also New Member Sunday, where we introduce our new voting members. And today we'll be introducing you to 8 new voting members, which is fantastic. These are our new stewards. These are people that have come here for a time and felt a sense of belonging and nurturing and want to be our new stewards. We'll introduce them at the end of this service. So what is stewardship anyway? What is stewardship? Stewardship is really caregiving. It's taking care of, in this case, taking care of Columbine, taking care of this community, taking care of it. Because we see the value of it, because we want it to continue on for the next generation and the next generation, we want to be good stewards. And so a community like this that is self-sustaining takes a lot of resources. And so we always invite, never demand, that our stewards give of their time, talent, and treasure. It takes a lot of time, talent, and treasure to run a lively center like this. So we're always looking for people who want to help us out, give of their time, give of their talent. It costs us $70 per seat per Sunday to meet our expenses. I don't share that with you as a way for you to feel guilty if you're not giving at that level. I share it with you for information, for you to make your own decisions about how you want to give here. And some of you can't give at that level, and that's okay, totally okay. We appreciate everything that comes here, everything. Mary Morrissey says in Prosperity Plus, if you want to see what people value, if you want to know what you value, look at your bank account and look at your calendar, because that will show you where you spend your time and where you spend your money. And so if you say you value something and it's not showing up in your bank account or your calendar, then maybe you have some realigning to do. It's up to you. It's up to you. So if you look around the sanctuary, you'll notice that we have people in different seasons of their stewardship here. Some of you might be tired. Some of you are raising kids. Some of you are working hard, raising kids, trying to keep a family together. And it took everything you had just to show up here this morning. That's okay. I want to say this clearly. We're not asking you to do something more. We are glad you're here. You belong. You are enough. We love you. We're here to help. We're here to support you. And if you find yourself with just a little more energy, perhaps you could be someone that says hello to someone walking in the door for the first time. Or perhaps you could have a 5-minute conversation with someone after the service in fellowship. Or perhaps you could pick up one of these cards and give it to a neighbor that's looking for a place like this. And then carpool with them, because we don't have a lot of space in our parking lot. We handed these out at Easter. If you weren't here at Easter, you're free, even if you were here at Easter, if you want another one, if you want to hand it out. We have a stack of them in the lobby on the table. We've got more buried somewhere, not buried. I know where they are. Take them, share them. If you feel good about being here, someone else might feel good about being here. We understand if you're in that phase of your stewardship, that what you give may be smaller than what you want to give, and that's okay. It's perfectly good. Perhaps you have a profession, you're in a profession where you could give of your talent. We're looking for a plumber right now, an electrician, anything where you can help us sustain this community is grateful. We're grateful. Megan and Daniel Stone, I don't know if they're here, a couple weeks ago on Earth Day donated a bunch of mulch. If some of you were probably here and helped out. Anybody help out on that mulch day? Yeah. It was amazing. And bring the kids in and let them help. Annalisa showed me a couple pictures of River. He was really getting into it. He's pushing his dump truck, and then the next one, she said he couldn't get enough of emptying the mulch out of his dump truck. So cute. You know, if you're here with kids, you want to be the woman at the door or the man at the door with your child who says hello to people. People love that. So anything small when you have the energy, and we know how hard it is. Many of us have raised kids, we know. So then maybe you're in a season of your stewardship where you have more time, you have more flexibility, you have more disposable income, you have something in you that sees what's happening here, and you say, I want to be a bigger part of that. Great. We not only need you, we are ready for you. Because this place is created by people who are committed to getting some things done. We appreciate your zeal and your enthusiasm and your hands-on service. And then maybe you're in a season of stewardship where you've given all you've got, you've been running it over and over and carrying everything for everyone, and you've led groups and you've been on the board and you've done all you can do and you can't do it anymore. That's okay too. I'm not asking you to go back and start giving at that same level. I'm saying something has shifted, so look at your stewardship differently. Look at it as being a mentor, as being a calm presence, as being an encourager. We need who you have become and who you are becoming. Just like we need everyone else, everyone who's whatever level you're at. So what does this all mean? It means no matter what level you're at, no matter what season you're in, you can give in small ways, in big ways, in different ways, and help us with the feeling that we all have, I shouldn't say we all, many of us have, of a home here help it be more of a home to people that are still coming in the door, still having their moment at the door. What if everybody in here, what if everyone in here was a steward and was just making this place be all it could be? What if? On Wednesday, I take a class and my teacher posed a question and then called on me to answer it. Thank you very much, which I don't like being called on. But the question was, what if we led with our intuition in all of our conversations? What if we led with our intuition in all of the ways we respond to people? What if we led with our intuition on all of the actions that we take instead of our critical thinking and our emotions? And we led with our intuition. What difference would that make? And I said it would make a huge difference. Huge difference. Our critical thinking and our emotions will always limit us. They do not see the possibilities. But our intuition comes from the divine. It comes from that God self within us. It comes from the oneness. It comes from one mind, one consciousness, the quantum field. It comes from the all that sees all possibilities, sees immense potential, that domain of potentiality. So what if we led with that? We wouldn't be leading with things, those patterns, those paradigms that we get stuck in. Mel Schwartz, who wrote the Possibility Principle, and I've been referring to this book this year. I still will. I'm not quite through it yet. We have more in the bookstore now. He says this: the very notion of what if opens up our creativity and enables us to live more masterfully. It's as though we reopen the possibility of our life becoming the canvas that it truly is, with the added bonus that we've put the paintbrush back into our hands. Our own hands. We're creating our own lives. What if we did this? And then he goes on to say, asking what if opens the doorway to a more meaningful and participatory life. These words prompt our participation with our future, the full engagement of our experience of becoming. What if seeks new possibilities? What if? This is our theme this year. What the year of possibility. What is possible? What is possible if we were all stewards and receivers, and we had this just continuous flow of people who got this, who wanted to create something, create this home-like feel here? It would be beautiful. We'd be creating a place of love, more than it even is now. I say it already is. There's a story that's shared in this book, The Art of Possibility, another one I've been following this year, been using this year for our theme. There's a second grade girl who had just finished a round of chemo because she has leukemia. And she's returning to school. And she's wearing a scarf on her head. And the kids, in their curiosity, pull the scarf off her head. And in their nervousness, they start laughing. The girl is heartbroken, feels terrible. She goes home and tells her mom she doesn't want to return to school. And her mom says, honey, it'll be okay. They'll get used to it. So the teacher who witnessed this, the teacher went home that night and remembered who she was. She remembered that she can set an example. She remembered that she was love. She remembered that she wanted her classroom to be a place of love's presence where it was felt. And so she took action, she responded. The next morning when she got to school, she took off her hat and her scarf and showed all the kids that she had shaved her head. And all the kids went home that night and asked to get their heads shaved too. And they created a classroom of belonging where no one was left out, where all their hair was growing back at the same time. That's that loop. Remember who you are. Respond in service, respond in love, and then resonate with the others around you. This whole deep sense of belonging. That's what we're invited to do here. That's why we're here, I think, to continue the process of just growing deeper and deeper. So I want you to do something, to just take a moment and remember when you felt welcomed by someone else said some words and you just felt like you were so welcomed and you belonged. Remember something like that. You got something? Everybody got something? Hang on to that. That is something you can share with someone else. That feeling of belonging. That feeling of being welcomed by another human being, by another soul. So then we're going to respond. Now we're going to respond. We're going to do something. I want you to turn to somebody that's sitting near you, maybe somebody you don't know, and just say, I'm glad you're here. And if you're watching online, I'm glad you're here. Okay, you can continue in fellowship. I'm glad you're all here. Now, I want you to just think of one small thing you can do. One small thing you can do to be a steward. A smile, a hug, introducing yourself. One small thing, and make a commitment that you're going to do it soon, maybe today. Make a commitment to yourself. Nobody's going to check up on you to see. This is between you and you. One small thing. Got it? Got something? When we remember who we are, when we remember the love that we are, we transition ourselves. We become more into our divine nature. We come from that place of knowing the God that's within us, the God that we are. And then we respond and we act in service with love. And then we resonate with each other in connection and deep belonging. It's a beautiful process. And what a great day to do this when we're introducing new members and having our annual meeting and the health of this organization. So I'm glad you're all here. Namaste.